Play. The Wolverines get their first victory of 92 in the home opener. We'll have highlights. We'll talk about Hurricane Andrew's impact all the way to Ann Arbor, and we'll scout the Cougars of Houston and the run and shoot. All that and more coming up next.
Everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. The Wolverines record their first victory of the 1992 season after an opening game tie against Notre Dame. Come back with a big 35-3 win yesterday over Oklahoma State. Threw the ball 26 times in the first half. That's not Michigan football.
No, that's way too many, Jim. That's how many I wanted to throw for the entire game. But we threw it because they forced us to throw the ball is really what happened, and luckily it worked.
Yeah, I know you didn't really want to throw it that much because you had Todd Collins, brand new quarterback, not a lot of experience in there filling in for an injured Elvis Grbac.
Right, and obviously that's the Oklahoma State game plan was the fact that let's see if this new kid can throw the football. And he did. But yet our running game, Jim, we got to block better. And finally, Ricky got running in that third quarter like the old Ricky Powers. And that's the kind of back we need that's going to break some tackles in our running game. But they had the extra defender in there all day. And like, you know, you stated earlier, we could have thrown the ball all day, the sideline routes and things. So we threw the ball 40-some times, which was good because we did it successfully.
You're just a wild coach, right?
Right, exactly. Wild, right.
First, 3rd and 12, Derek Alexander makes a great play here.
Derek had a good game, and right there he had a stretch for the extra yardage in order to get the first down, which was good. Todd goes back and hits Ricky on a screen pass here. Had pretty good blocking there. You're going to see a couple key blocks there that really help spring the screen.
And again, you get an opportunity, you don't push it in, so you're forced to go for the field goal, just miss wide right. This 35-3 score in the first quarter late, it was 0-0. This was not an easy game, as the score indicates.
No, you're exactly right. We missed a couple field goals throughout the game, plus we have a number of turnovers. There's Matt Dyson showing good strength and throwing Benson back there, their good tailback. And I thought our defense did a good job, particularly bottling up the run.
Talking about doing a good job, how about Todd Collins and finding the right guy? Went to Tony McGee when he was in trouble an awful lot.
Right, I think a couple times, and here's an example. Right there, Jim, is a great example of what happens when they overplay the run. You fake the run, roll out, and just hit a little dump pass. In fact, we went deep to Derek a couple occasions, and that worked out.
4th and 5, and Walter Smith gets the catch.
There's a big play for a young quarterback. You're 4th and 5, and you go over the middle with about a 12-yard completion. But we knew we have to be able to do that this year. And here he throws to Derek Alexander, which I thought Derek got bumped there, but he made a great catch. That one was one catch that reminded me a little bit of what Desmond did for us.
Early in the second quarter, you're only up 7-0. Defense again played great.
Right, we get a little pressure on our quarterback, and then Steve Morrison comes up with a great catch there because he was on the ground, kept it from hitting the ground for a key interception. Then we come right back with Todd to Derek Alexander, and again, you're going to see how wide open he is. Todd throwing under great pressure here. But again, the reason that pass was so wide open is because everybody's up playing the run.
They wanted to take the run away from you, so you had to throw it, in other words.
Exactly. But yet you like to think a good running team can still run under adverse conditions.
3rd and 17, you want to talk about a defense flying around.
Right.
This play typifies it.
There they go, yes. That's kind of defense we have to have, and they're getting to the ball quite well, and they're very excited about it. And that's a big part of it, the emotion.
At halftime, you're ahead 14-0. And yet I know you're not happy with the fact that you haven't been able to run the ball, even though they were stacked up against it.
Exactly, because, you know, you still have to block people, and then if you got good backs, they're going to make guys miss once in a while. But, Jim, when you go through a game, you score 35 points, you miss 2 field goals, you have 6 penalties, 1 brought a touchdown back, 4 fumbles and an interception, you're not a good football team.
Spoken like a true head football coach. Don't go away. We'll be back, take a look at the second half highlights. But first, we hear from a guy who got really involved in the offense against Oklahoma State.
We take what the defense gives us, and they were loading up on our run a whole lot. And so we had a lot of little play action passes and things like that. They got the tight end open as well as some receivers downfield. And so they just got the ball to us. And I think I dropped one, so it's my goal to try to catch everyone that comes my way.
It was intense all around, you know. Our defensive backs, last week they hit real well, and I think this week we did a lot, you know, a better job tackling. I think that showed out in the field, and, you know, when you get them wrapped up, you're going to get some big hits.
Steve Morrison, who said that they had to pick it up on defense because the offense was struggling a bit. And I would imagine at halftime, you went after the kids pretty hard, particularly the offensive line, and making sure you could get some holes for your backs to run through.
Well, I felt the blocking was weak at that time in the first half, and I also felt our running was weak. Although I felt our passing game was more than adequate, and our defense was playing well. Whenever your defense is playing well, Jim, you feel comfortable.
You got a chance. Then you come out first play of the second half, or one of the first series, and you fumble it away.
First series, we take the ball. We should drive down, and there they strip the ball loose from Ricky Powers. So now this gives them their only score of the day, an opportunity. Our defense did come up with big plays and force them to kick the ball, and they got their 3 points because of an offensive gift, really.
Do you think that maybe that might have been a little bit of a wake-up call? Because at 14-3, now they're excited and momentum is in their charge, and your kids seem to fire it up.
Right. Here, Walter Smith on a reverse. Todd Collins gets a good block. We get blocking downfield. He takes it down just about to the 20-yard line. We punched the ball down, and it was the next series, and we're going to go, and Jesse's going to fumble the ball going in for a touchdown, really. Right here, you see the ball comes loose just short of prior to the goal line. They get the ball. And, you know, those two series really hurt because we give them 3, and we took 7 away from ourselves.
And then they come back and get a big play on your defense.
Exactly. Here's 2 defenders coming up. They're running into one another. They both had to make the tackle. But Greg McThomas comes from behind and catches him. Now the defense has to come up with some big plays. And you see here on the screen, again, the pursuit that you talked about in the hustle was a key thing.
3rd and 11, that forces them to turn the ball back over to you. You get the ball back in the 20, and then you start moving it again.
Right, here's an example of the passes we talked earlier, Jim. We could have probably hit all day because they were up there for the run. Now, this looks like Ricky running here. You'll see there's a good run in there. Later, he comes back with a good touchdown run. This is it right here. Bounce off, breaking tackles. That's a Michigan back.
That's the Ricky Powers you recruited.
Exactly.
And is it just him getting in sync or what?
Well, I think a little bit. And sometimes you're always looking for big plays and big holes, and they just don't happen in good football games. Here's another play for them for 30-some yards. I think they had, Jim, 2 plays that covered over 70, 75 yards. Other than that, our defense was really good. Here's good pressure, not allowing the quarterback to set his feet to throw the ball, so you force him out of bounds. And
that was a 3rd down play, so they have to go on 4th and 9, and you come up with big pressure.
Come up with a good blitz there, and Buster Stanley gets the sack. And you need those in every game. That's the only thing that was hurting us in this game defensively was our quarterback scrambling around.
Ricky Powers then goes back to work. Any adjustments you made up front blocking that changed things in that 3rd quarter?
Yeah, we tried to get mad. That was about the only thing. We didn't really do a lot of things differently. I think we just executed better. There's a good catch by Walter Smith and a good run.
That was a key play in that drive, too. You were looking at 4th down.
4th down. Then here goes Ricky off the right side. Great block outside, but Derek Alexander allows Ricky to run around the corner in for the touchdown.
Now you're feeling a little more comfortable in the 4th quarter, up 28-3.
Right, but still disappointed in the fact that you know against good teams you can't turn the ball over. Here they throw an interception. Dwayne Ware comes up with a big interception, and right in front of him, right there, you can see one of our players clip, and that's what calls it back. You love to see the defense score a touchdown because they get very few opportunities to do that. Then we drive the ball down, and here's Eddie Davis going in on a sweep, and that's the final score.
35-3, a youngster out of Martin Luther King High School in Detroit. One of the things that I know you're most concerned about, you get the big win over Oklahoma State, but you're still a little bit nicked up. And coming out of this game, that's, got to worry you some heading into Houston.
Yeah, 3 good players today, Jim. Rob Doherty, Bernie Leggett, and Chris Hutchinson all came up with some type of injury. And hopefully they're not too serious, but you never know what the weekend brings. And on Monday we'll find out. But we can't afford to lose many more players. And hopefully we'll start getting some of them back. I doubt if we'll get Wheatley back, possibility. Elvis, I think, should be ready to play, hopefully. And we'll just have to see from there. Marcus Walker should play as well.
An old coach that both you and I know pretty well once said you make your biggest improvement between your 1st and 2nd games. Do you think that happened with your club against Oklahoma State?
I think it did with our defense. I do not think it did with our offense because we just had too many turnovers. Our tackling was better. We weren't playing Notre Dame, however, Jim, but I still think our tackling was better, and that was very key. And the confidence factors there. And you can show kids, hey, this is how you play defense. I don't care who you're playing against.
Still had to be delighted with the job that Todd Collins did.
Oh, no question about that. I mean, he set a record which was tremendous for him. But coming in, and I had confidence in him. I just didn't know how he'd react in a real game situation, but he showed he could play.
There's one thing I think you got to work on. You still got to block better for the run.
Right, and the backs got to run harder and then hang on to the ball. And I'm sure we're going to see some good blocking in there and, again, some key mistakes from some younger people.
Okay, good win for the Wolverines. Meanwhile, one of the Wolverines played that game against Oklahoma State thinking about his parents far, far from home. We'll be back and tell you his story, but first we hear from the hero, the guy who stepped in for the starting quarterback.
Sure, I was pretty nervous going into the game, but then I ran a couple plays, and I was right back into the flow of the game, and it just turned out good in the first half. My receivers were running great routes, and I had great line protection. I could have had about 7 more. I missed a couple, and the coaches just called a great game. Every pass is open. Every time I executed, it worked.
Things. So we threw the ball 40-some times, which was good because we did it successfully.
You're just a wild coach, right?
Right, exactly. Wild, right.
First, 3rd and 12. Derek Alexander makes a great play here.
Derek had a good game, and right there he had a stretch for the extra yardage in order to get the first down, which was good. Todd goes back and hits Ricky on a screen pass here. Pretty good. And obviously that's the Oklahoma State game plan, was the fact that let's see if this new kid can throw the football. And he did. But yet our running game, Jim, we got to block better. And finally Ricky got running in that 3rd quarter like the old Ricky Powers, and that's the kind of back we need that's going to break some tackles in our running game. But they had the extra defender in there all day. And like, you stated earlier, we could have thrown the ball all day, the sideline routes. And blocking there, you're going to see a couple key blocks there that really help spring the screen.
And again, you get an opportunity, you don't push it in, so you're forced to go for field goal, just miss wide right. This 35-3 score in the first quarter late, it was 0-0. This was not an easy game, as the score indicates.
No, you're exactly right. We missed a couple field goals throughout the game, plus we have a number
for Oklahoma State. Threw the ball 26 times in the first half. That's not Michigan football.
No, that's way too many, Jim. That's how many I wanted to throw for the entire game, but we threw it because they forced us to throw the ball is really what happened, and luckily it worked.
Yeah, I know you didn't really want to throw it that much because you had Todd Collins, brand new quarterback, not a lot of experience in there, filling in for an injured Elvis Grbac.
Right.
Play. The Wolverines get their first victory of 92 in the home opener. We'll have highlights. We'll talk about Hurricane Andrew's impact all the way to Ann Arbor, and we'll scout the Cougars of Houston and the run and shoot. All that and more coming up next.
Everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. The Wolverines record their first victory of the 1992 season after an opening game tie against Notre Dame. Come back with a big 35-3 win yesterday